Hey guys, it's Sad Crowman and welcome to my spiritual channel. Today I'm going to show you the manifestation method I used to earn like over $10,000 to move out. The most important thing you want to keep in mind, of course, always, is that in order to make it work, you have to believe in it. First, I will tell you what things you need to get started. Then I'll tell you how I did this and how it worked for me, because again, belief is the most important ingredient. So you need to know why this works for me. And then after that, I'll get into how to do the spell. So you'll need a jar. That's pretty much it. That's all you need for sure is a jar. I spray painted mine black for protection. You will figure out why on your own, I'm sure, but I'll explain it anyway. You can also include a crystal in the jar or several crystals. My top pick would be green aventurine. Green jade would be another good one. So would citrine. Citrine is always good for manifestation. If you're feeling particularly out of balance with your finances, like you're in an ungrounded situation, you may want to add a piece of tiger's eye. If you want some good luck, maybe try carnelian. If you want to protect your current assets especially, you could add a piece of obsidian or black tourmaline. Did I pronounce that right? Oh well, who cares? Hematite is another good one, especially if you have a lot of anxiety. And as always, if you don't have any of that, like a piece of clear quartz can be substituted for anything if you set your intentions on it. Or you could just take a rock and paint it green. I mean, use what you got. I'm always the type of person, use what you got. This isn't a spell you should have to spend money on. If you have a hard time with the law of attraction and stuff, you may also want a pencil and a piece of paper. If you like to use candles in your magic, you can use a green one. I want you to focus on what you already have, so don't go out and buy anything for this spell. You shouldn't have to spend any money. It's a very versatile spell. All spells should be versatile, so just use what you've got. Good candle colors, I use birthday candles because I'm cheap. Would be green, of course. Green, money, currency. You know, I'm an American, so we associate green with currency. Gold is another good one. I'm assuming most of you associate, gold, silver, that sort of thing with currency. Colors like black and white are always a good choice, multi-purpose. And other than that, really all you need is whatever loose change you find, just while you have the spell active. So the basic principle of this is you are going to use the law of attraction. You're going to have your jar, and every time you find loose change anywhere, you say, "Thank you, universe, for X million dollars," and you toss it in your jar, and it multiplies and multiplies exponentially. So if you find a penny, thank you, universe, for $1 million. Be sure to feel it. You are really grateful that the universe has given you $1 million. It's not a penny, it's $1 million. Nickel, $5 million. Dime, $10 million. And a quarter, $25 million. Pretty simple. When I first did this, I had a clear jar, which brings us to our story time portion. So I made up this law of attraction exercise because I found a bunch of coins in my room and I had a jar, so I figured, I'll put them all in the jar, and I just exaggerated and, tried my best to feel as much gratitude as possible. So when I first started this, it was sometime long after my book flopped. It was like when I worked at the deli. And I was saving money to move out, but I didn't have enough money to really live a good lifestyle, especially not, in this area, and or anywhere really. So hence why I started taking the law of attraction more seriously. By the time it came to move out, and by the way, keep in mind, I wasn't saving my money very carefully during this time. I was not saving my money carefully, but I still somehow managed to save up $7,000. And that's just my savings, so there's no telling how much I actually earned with this method. I'm sure I could figure it out if I looked through all of my finances from that year, but I don't feel like doing that, so I'm not doing that. Probably somewhere around $10,000, I guess. Maybe more. It didn't happen overnight, it didn't come overnight, but it did come. Now, of course, when I moved, I left the spell behind because it had grown to a big jar I wasn't taking that thing on a plane with me. Anyway, I did end up homeless. Now, was that because I left the jar spell at home? Probably not. That was probably because I trusted all the wrong people. Unpopular opinion, but I feel like the law of attraction has its limits. And what I mean by that is somebody's actively trying to sabotage you. Good luck, man. Good luck. It's a very long story and I can't get into it fully today. Law of attraction is not going to make a bad person a good person. Or maybe that situation, maybe something will happen someday and this experience will make me more abundant in the long run. You never know. There may come a time when I feel like this was in my best interest. Who knows? Once I returned home, I had the jar spell, but I kind of set it aside. I wasn't doing it anymore because I was just too depressed, and I don't know, I was kind of losing my faith in the universe, even though, like, from the whole time I set out to move out and throughout my entire homelessness, I didn't even use the law of attraction. So I mean, I'm not saying correlation equals causation, but I do think this correlation speaks pretty loud. So my then boyfriend at the time, who I had been homeless with for a while, my father said he didn't want him to move back in here with us. So I had him come over and get all of his stuff, and during that time, my money jar spell completely disappeared. So yeah, keep that in mind. A jar of money, a transparent jar of money, that's kind of tempting to people. Now, I'm not accusing him of anything, but that's quite the coincidence. He comes over, he gets his stuff, and my abundance spell is missing. So yeah, I dumped him. Which, this is totally unrelated to the video, but during the time that we were together, he did, at times, take money out of the jar to spend. Like, he'd fish out quarters and stuff, and I had to scold him, like, 3 times to not do that. So, yeah, if you're with somebody and they do not respect your practice or your spells, dump them immediately. Don't make my mistake. That should have been, the first red flag, that this man does not respect me. He does not respect my property. He doesn't respect my future. So anyway, I have been screwed ever since then, ever since I stopped using this spell. When I was using this spell, upward thousands of dollars. And then when I stopped doing it, my finances suddenly went downhill. And I have a hard time believing that's a coincidence. So I'm definitely a believer now. And since he stole, that spell coincidentally went missing, and I have to restart it anyway, I figured I may as well share this with you guys, so you guys can do it as well. So yes, I spray painted it black. Black represents protection, and it also represents power. So not only is it great for like exponential growth, which is what we're focusing on today, it's also excellent for protection. And unless they really look into it, they're not going to know it's full of money. But also don't date somebody like that, and then you shouldn't have the same problem I did. If you're not particularly good at the law of attraction, or you're new to it, or you're new to spell work, or maybe you just want to do this step just because you can. Let's see, where is it? This is my manifestation journal, and we're going to write in it today. I need a pencil. Oh, cool, one on the floor. And I'm just going to write some rules. Well, should I say guidelines? All right, so I have my first one here. All of the money in this jar multiplies exponentially. So we have our first little rule here for the spell. And also I'm going to write each cent is $1 million. Now, one manifestation technique that I've heard Aphrodite talk a lot about in his live streams, hello to fellow Aphrodite viewers, is when you want to manifest money, manifest the thing you really want, and the money will come to help you get that thing. So what do I want right now? Well, I want a fucking house, that's for sure. Especially after all the shit I went through, I want a house. I have the perfect house for me, and we'll just let the universe decide what the perfect house for me is, because I don't want to sit here and write down, oh, I have a Spanish villa with a beach view. Yeah, we'll let the universe decide what kind of house I'll have. You know what else I have? I have excellent medical care. And you cannot be too demanding. Now, some people will probably look at these affirmations and be like, well, this is kind of boring. But I feel kind of embarrassed when I sit there and write, wow, I'm so happy to be a billionaire queen. Different things are going to work for different people. So write in the way that feels right to you. And this is just for demonstration purposes anyway, so I'm not really that into it. But, because I didn't do this step when I did this spell. This is an extra step for people who needs some more direction. I am happy to be independent and abundant. Yes, I am happy to be... No, that's too future-y. I am independent and abundant. Yeah. Present tense is best. Another tip, this is one I picked up from Stargirl the Practical Witch, is to write down that you deserve the thing. Especially if you are in the sort of mindset where you feel like you don't deserve anything. I deserve happiness and abundance. Because no matter how hard you work with gratitude, etc., it's going to be really hard to convince the universe to give you money if you feel like you don't deserve it. Like, oh, I'm a sad, miserable, pathetic I don't deserve a house. Universe says, okay, you don't get one. So let's not do that. Do as I say, not as I do. So far we got all of this money in this jar multiplies exponentially. Each cent is $1 million. I have the perfect house for me. I have excellent medical, psychological, and dental care. I am happy. I am independent and abundant. And I deserve happiness and abundance. You know what else I deserve? I deserve a house. I deserve a house. I deserve success. And I deserve good health. Thank you, universe, for your many blessings. Personally, I'm of the type, I don't really believe that the wording itself is the most important. What matters the most is what you get out of it. So anyway, I think I've written enough. You can add more if you like. So I'm just going to tear this out here. Whoops. We still in the viewfinder. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to fold it clockwise, because clockwise is bringing things into our lives. Turn it clockwise, fold it toward us. Turn it clockwise, fold it toward us. I'm also going to draw a pentagram on the back. Oops. Pretend I got that on my first try. Actually, I think a rolling would have fit better. Rolling it toward me. We're just going to plop it in the jar. Boop, just like that. Oh yeah, I guess during this time you probably would have wanted to have your candle out if you do that. So you get out a quarter. This is my little mini altar, isn't it cute? Where the hell is my fire-making torch? Whatever those things are called. What are those called? The fire magic thing, the lighters, my lighter. I must get up in search of my lighter. I think I booped the microphone with my butt. Sorry about that. I'm going to use green because I don't see myself using any heart chakra magic or anything like that. So the green one should be adequate. And, I'll just write down, I have a home. And, you could write down whatever you want. Maybe you want a car. Maybe you need money for whatever. Just whatever it is. And of course, if you want to make this long term, you probably want to add general abundance affirmations, but, that'll come, every cent is $1 million, so that's kind of just a given, I don't think it's really that big of a deal. Poor witch hack. Let that dry. What I like about this trick is that, it's cheap as hell for one. And for another, you don't have to wait for some big tall pillar candle to burn out. You can just meditate on, your wealth and stuff and the spell working or whatever you want to do. And you can do it in a much shorter time because nobody wants to leave a flame burning unattended. And I don't like reusing my candles. I like one candle to be that spell, And I don't see how burning a taller candle and sitting there for 10 hours is like something a normal person can do. Now, some of you may be expecting me to give you some sort of poem to recite, but I don't really believe in that kind of thing. It just seems a little excessive and ridiculous to me, no offense. Instead, what I want you to do is visualize. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to visualize the sort of thing I want and try to, feel it like it's happening to you. And if you need a guided meditation, I'm sure there are plenty of guided meditations on YouTube for feeling abundant and that sort of thing. Again, I want this to be highly customizable so you can use whatever you have to use whatever spell is right for you and works for you. Because all the stuff I've done so far isn't really the most integral part to the spell. You know, it doesn't matter what you do or how you do it. It matters that you are able to believe, that you dare to believe that you are an abundant person. Because I didn't even do any of this. But then again, I didn't have to. I made up the spell. I knew what I wanted to begin with. Back to that advice that I stole from Aphrodite. You don't want to sit there and think, oh God, I'm so rich, I have so much money, and imagine yourself rolling in a big pit of money. That's not gonna... I mean, money in itself doesn't really have any value. So you want to imagine you have the thing that you really want, the things you really desire, the things that you believe money will bring you. So for me, what I did... when I did my visualization exercises, I imagined my house. I imagined living in my house. I imagined the freedom that my own house would provide. Think of all the things you'll do in your house and how you'll feel when you're doing all those things in your house. And that's for me because I wanted a house. Say you want a car. Imagine you in your car, how you'll feel when you get your car, yada yada. Say you're trying to afford an education. Imagine, well, I don't know if you'd want to imagine how much fun you'll have in college. Maybe you want the college experience. Maybe you're more focused on long term. Maybe you want to imagine how great it'll be when you become a lawyer or a doctor or whatever the hell you want to be. A dentist, a very well educated janitor. I don't really care. What matters is imagine how you're going to feel when you get that thing. And imagine it like you are in that present moment experiencing it. And that will help it come to you so much faster because you're already putting that vibration as if it's happening to you right now. You don't want to think of it in the terms of, oh, this is how I'll feel when it gets here, when it gets here, when it gets here. Feel like it's here now. Absolutely, 100% feel like it's here now. So I'm going to take a moment to do that because, I've already gotten this far, so I may as well take a few minutes to myself. Oh, and I have another tip. I know I said earlier you don't want to be too specific, but if there is something specific you want, you can add that. But that's only if there is something very specific. Like if there's one specific house you're trying to manifest, or there's one specific, a baseball card you're trying to manifest, go for that. Baseball cards really came out of nowhere. I don't think I know anyone who collects baseball cards. Personally, what I'm focusing on right now is that feeling of freedom I'm going to have, that material abundance will bring me. Like, if you can find a feeling to latch onto, that's the best way to manifest. Especially if you're like me and you have, over-the-top f***ing emotions. And remember, the universe wants you to get the things you want. The universe wants you to be abundant. You have to believe that. Ooh, I just had a good idea for my book. Sorry, spell. I'll get back to you. Nice. And when it gets to this point, like on the you can either blow it out on your own to prevent a fire or just wait for it to burn out. I don't see this burning too badly anytime soon, so I'll just let it burn out. And part of the reason I wanted to do it like this, to make this so customizable and to let you know you can just work with what you have, is because a lot of people have this idea that in order to do a money spell, you need to give a lot of money. Like if you look up money spells on Etsy, they're all super expensive. To me, it just reinforces that capitalist mindset. You need to have money to make money, and I don't agree with that at all. So again, don't put money into this spell. Use what you've got. And don't let me tell you exactly what to say or how to do it. And that's one of the reasons I'm not telling you exactly what to do. And I know there's not a lot of guidance so far, but we're getting to that point. Okay, excellent. And as the smoke travels upward, I like to imagine my message is being delivered and dispersing throughout the universe or whatever. Ow! Whoa, that was hot. I forgot that would be hot. Whew! Ow! Well, lost that one. Yeah, that was really hot. I should not have touched that. Okay, now crystals. Did I put them in here? I put the crystals that I was going to use for the spell aside somewhere. I do not remember where I put them. Maybe they're in the drawer? No. Okay, Buttsby and I did not find the exact crystals I was looking for, but I found the same kind of crystals somewhere else in my room. So I apparently have a ton of tumbled rocks I just totally forgot about over the years. Little Buttsby. Buttsby says hello. So what we're going to do is we're going to take each crystal, set our intention on the crystal. You can do this during the spell casting portion if you want. Or if you're just not... Now, Butsby, that's the microphone. Ah! Butsby, behave! Butsby, behave! Alright, so hematite. You are here to help balance my root chakra and help me feel abundant and stable and balanced and rooted. Now we're going to tip these in gently so they don't break. Crystals can break. Okay. And probably green adventuring, because jade is a little out of my budget. Your job is to increase my material abundance so that I... Butsby. Well, whatever. The crystals know what they're here for. I believe it very strongly with all my heart. That's all you need. Again, the fancy tricks are just to help program your mind. What's really important is that you believe. And I found plenty of loose change all around my room. So we have a quarter here. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. Now we have another quarter here. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. And believe it with all your heart. And those two $25 million pieces in here are going to multiply exponentially because that's the rules we set. This light's bugging me. Those are the rules we set, the parameters we set for our spell. Here's another quarter. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. I almost said simoleons, but I don't think that would have made a difference. Listen, I just really love The Sims. And if you love The Sims too, you should check out my other channel. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. Oh, this is a cool quarter. Salt River Bay. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. And when I'm doing this, I don't know what other people do, but I feel like I'm kind of tuning in, like turning a radio to like a different radio station in my brain, and I hear this kind of a twinkling noise. I don't know what that is. I always thought I was claircognizant because I am. I might be clairaudient too. I don't know what it is that I'm hearing, but I feel like I'm tuning in to kind of like the frequency of the universe, of spirits, of the world, whatever it is that's out there. I'm not going to pretend I have the answers, but that's what's going on when I'm personally channeling and speaking things into existence. So let's take another fistful. I'm going to try to put my whole heart into it, even though it's kind of embarrassing because I'm in front of a camera. So that way you know it's okay and it's not weird. Even though it's going to feel so wrong, you're going to feel like you're lying to yourself, but you're not lying to yourself. You're speaking it into existence. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. I have a lot of $25 million pieces here. Thank you, universe, for $1 million. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. See, it's really easy, and you can do this throughout the day. So put this jar in a place where you can easily find it throughout the day. So don't, like, hide it in your closet or somewhere you're going to forget about it. Leave it out in the open, and that's part of the reason it's spray painted back. Leave it out in the open. Thank you, universe, for $1 million. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. I'm probably rushing it a little. We don't need to rush it that much. But we can hear it. We know it's multiplying in there. They're multiplying in the most G-rated sense I can think of. Thank you, universe, for $10 million. Thank you, universe, for $1 million. Thank you, universe, for $1 million. And the more you do it, the less ridiculous you'll feel. Just remember, you're not lying. You're speaking it into existence. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. Thank you, universe, for $1 million. Thank you, universe, for $1 million. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. And really, if you want to skip all that stuff that I did beforehand, if you want to skip all the formalities and just do this, you can just do this too. You don't have to do any of the fancy stuff. You don't even need a crystal if you don't have one. Again, you can just take a rock and paint it green or do nothing. I don't care. Whatever works for you. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. Thank you, universe, for $5 million. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. Thank you, universe, for $25 million in this fistful of hair. Thank you, universe, for $1 million. I'm rushing it again. I just feel ridiculous because I'm doing it on camera. I'm giving away all of my secrets. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. Thank you, universe, for $25 million. As long as you feel it, all right? That's what's important. Feel that gratitude. Feel that it's coming in. Feel that it exists. Feel that you have the power to speak it into the universe. Thank you, universe, for $1 million. Thank you, universe, for $10 million. Thank you, universe, for $10 million. Thank you, universe, for $5 million. Honestly, it's kind of meditative. I feel a little more abundant already. Thank you, universe, for $10 million. Thank you, universe, for $10 million. Thank you, universe, for $10 million. I'm so ridiculous doing this. I need to stop thinking about how ridiculous I sound. Again, speaking it into existence. And, you know, I'm just going to put these in bulk. You can do that too. Thank you, universe, for $30 million. All right. So all that you need to do is believe. Believe with all your heart that your millions of dollars that are in your jar are multiplying and multiplying. Never take money out of the jar, because then you're taking it out of your future abundance. Because these coins, these million pieces of coins here, are linked now directly to your future abundance. I'm trying not to think of all the future abundance that my ex, you know, was coincidentally the last to see in this house. I don't think I'm ever gonna date anyone again, like ever. I'm just gonna stay single forever. Do not ever, if there's one more piece of advice I can give you, do not date emotionally immature men that expect you to take care of them. They will not appreciate you. Even if they do appreciate you, they won't treat you well. And they'll call you up crying like a dozen times after the breakup. I feel so bad about how I treated you. I feel so bad about how I treated you. It's not too late. Give me my f***ing money. Or at least my piece of green adventuring. That was a really nice piece. Anyway, enough of my f***ing. Does not matter now. Does not matter now, because I'm starting over. And I'm hoping to see some good progress with this that I can share with you guys. It's definitely not the smartest thing to do to like share how much money you got, but I will update you if this is working for me at least, you know, in a way that is less likely to lead to people taking advantage of me like they did last time, because last time they definitely all took advantage of me, so. And again, I'm trying not to be too deterred by the fact that I ended up homeless during the time I wasn't using this technique. Because that too may end up paying off someday. You never know what'll happen. Sometimes the most ridiculously horrible things all happen for a reason. I mean, this all happened after I purchased this Moldavite, so it may be that this is drawing me toward my real destiny. Maybe I will get some kind of opportunity that I would have never gotten if homelessness had never happened to me. So I've been trying to think of it like that. Like, I'm not thinking of it in the sense like, oh, I'm so glad I was a hobo because I learned so much. No, I'm never going to be glad I was a hobo. But I can at least value what I've learned from that time. And I was never rich before all this, before trying this technique, by the way, like dirt broke. I don't think I actually mentioned that. Like, we're talking I was like dirt poor, making like $300 a month. It was like really sad. And technically during the time I was homeless, by the way, I should also mention I was making a load of money during the time I was homeless. But I had to live in a hotel during that time while I was waiting for the apartment that was never actually coming to come to me because, the landlords are evil. But, the hotel cost $3,000 a month. It was not extravagant either. There were roaches in it. I was just in a really expensive area, trusting all the wrong people. Don't do what I did. I should have definitely ran the first time I noticed there was something off about all the lies I was told and all that stuff. Instead of trying to give the benefit of a doubt, I should have done what was best for me. But, that's just another lesson I've got to learn. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I was technically making a lot of money before that jar was stolen. Even though it all went to things. Because when I got back, I also had to chuck a ton of money at my cat's vet bills. But yes, the universe did take care of everything I needed at that time, So yeah, I do highly recommend this method. It did wonders for me, and I'm not the type of person, I'm more of an analytical person, so I have a hard time trusting magic to begin with. So if something works for me, I'd say it should work for most people. This was very simple. It's not a huge investment like most money spells seem to be. You don't have to take a $100 bill and rip it in half or anything ridiculous like that. You just have to believe. And, another thing that makes this method work is consistently, because you are always going to end up with a little bit of change in your pocket from time to time. Or you're going to find a quarter on the ground or something like that when you're walking around outside, and you can take that home and you can throw it in your jar. Thank you, universe, for $5 million. And that will help your abundance multiply and grow over time. And, it's very simple, but it's effective. So it's something I recommend you at least try, because it's not a big time investment. Again, it's consistent over the period of a time, and I noticed a difference, and I'm sure you guys will too. And I'm sure I will also notice an even bigger difference as time passes. Because this channel is more like something I'd want to do anyway, so I probably wouldn't have started this channel if I had stayed in Denver, aka the mouth of hell. So there's that. I mean, it seems like I'm counting my chickens before they hatch, because this channel has 1,000 subscribers, but I just know algorithmically this is going to do so much better than my other channel, because it's actually a channel worth subscribing to. Like my personal channel, I just post all sorts of random stuff. So yeah, I do have faith that this will bring me more abundance, that this channel will bring me more abundance, and that the life I'm creating now is going to bring me more abundance than the life that I was going for during the time I was homeless. So I guess you can consider this a Moldavite update, because some of you guys were asking me for a Moldavite update. This was my Moldavite update. I lost everything. I lost everyone, and I mean, it sucks, but can you imagine me living and working hard with people who don't actually give a fuck about me all the time? No, I'm glad those people are out of my life now. I'm not glad I lost my money, but, was I happy to pay $2,000 in vet bill? No, but I'm happy that Knock Knock is still here. Was I happy to spend a bunch of money on furniture to turn my bedroom into a micro studio? No, I wasn't happy to do that, but I'm happy to have a personal space, even though it's kind of cramped. But it's a place I can film, at least, in privacy, and create things. So no, in spite of all the things I lost, I do not feel like Moldavite is cursed. So, as always, witch talk can go f*** itself in a fiery hole. Everything I've heard on witch talk has ranged from complete horse shit to, terrible toxic advice. So, definitely, I would avoid witch talk at all costs if I were you guys. So that's it. Please rate, subscribe, and blessed be, motherfuckers.